Have you ever felt that nothing makes sense anymore? That you open your eyes and reality feels hollow, as if the world has lost its center? You scroll endlessly, and instead of answers, you feel emptier. That is not coincidence. That is the law of vibration acting without your awareness. The more you consume noise, the more your inner frequency falls. This is not just tiredness. It is not simple boredom. It is the existential void, a silence that swallows meaning, a hollow that no distraction can fill. And here is the shock. This emptiness is not failure. It is the first signal that you are sensing the missing code, because this wound is not only yours, it belongs to an entire generation. We live surrounded by speed, by pressure, by noise. The more information we touch, the less truth we feel. We keep shifting the visible, yet the hidden cause remains untouched. But what if the void is not the end? What if it is the entrance? A doorway opening to memory of the hidden architecture of life. Because behind the surface chaos, reality is written. It is not random. It is patterned. It is alive. This is where Hermeticism returns. The Kybalion, the Emerald Tablet, a current older than empires, resurfacing now in the middle of digital anxiety. Not religion, not belief, but a hidden code that explains why modern life feels broken and how it can be realigned. Think of the Matrix. Most see the screen, endless distractions, illusions, shadows, but the awakened one sees the code dripping beneath it. That is what Hermeticism offers, the map of reality itself, the Emerald Code. And here is the truth. Leaving now means going back to the surface, to the same hollow you know too well. But staying means glimpsing what very few ever see, the code that explains modern life and why your emptiness was never random. If you've tried everything to change your life and yet the void remains, maybe it's because you've been shifting the visible while the hidden code stayed untouched. If something real moved inside you today, that's no accident. Not everyone stumbles upon this message, and even fewer feel ready to decode it. But if your heart says yes, touch the subscribe symbol below and step into this living temple where Hermeticism is not past, but the architecture of reality itself. And if you feel others searching, just like you, deserve to find this resonance, like this video and let the signal travel further. The emptiness is not the end, it is the beginning. And in the next moments, you will see why Hermeticism is not a relic, but the forgotten operating system of existence. The code is waiting. What if the world you move through is not chaos, but code? Not random, but written. Most people live as if life is noise, a collage of accidents. But beneath this confusion, there are laws, silent and unbreakable. For the ancients, these laws were not speculation. They were reality itself. They saw mind-shaping matter, vibration moving form, patterns echoing across every level of existence. They lived not as lost wanderers, but as map readers. Imagine humanity without a map, each one building blindly, collapsing again and again because they could not see the rivers, the invisible lines of gravity, the subtle paths of energy. Now imagine being given a map that reveals all of this, a scroll that shows where chaos is only rhythm, where loss is only polarity, where endings are simply phases of a larger cycle. That scroll exists. It was called the Emerald Tablet, a fragment of text, short yet infinite, carrying the code of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. This was not poetry. It was instruction. It was the skeleton key to reality itself. But over centuries, the map was ignored. Kings wanted conquest, not wisdom. Merchants wanted profit, not patterns. Priests twisted symbols into dogma, hiding the original light. And the map turned into myth, forgotten, buried, yet never destroyed. Why is Hermeticism back now? Because the void has returned. Because a generation has reached the breaking point of distraction. Because no amount of speed or consumption can silence the hollow in the chest. And so the map whispers again, not from temples of stone, but from the edges of your own awareness, from the hunger that says, there must be more. Here's the truth. Hermeticism was never gone. It was only waiting for memory to return. And the fact that you are here, listening now, means the signal has reached you. The first map awaits in the pinned comment. Not theory, not abstraction, a living key free for those who are ready. Take it, and the lines of the code will begin to reveal themselves. To understand the map, you must meet its messenger. His name changes, but his essence does not. Thoth in Egypt, Hermes in Greece, Mercury in Rome, and later, Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great, the master of correspondences. He was not a conqueror. He did not carry swords, nor armies, nor crowns. He carried something far more dangerous: words, symbols, keys. He was the bridge between worlds, the translator of the invisible. In myths, Hermes moves between realms, from Olympus to Earth, from the world of the living to the world of the dead. He is the one who crosses thresholds, who carries messages across borders that no one else dares to cross. He is the psychopomp, the guide of souls, and every time humanity forgets, Hermes returns. His tablet was small, yet eternal. The emerald tablet carried the principle that explains all others: correspondence, that what happens within echoes without, that your thoughts, your emotions, your repeated states of being are not private. They are seeds that sprout in matter. They sculpt relationships. They magnetize events. They mirror in health, in opportunities, in failures. You have felt this. When fear repeats, life brings obstacles. When gratitude repeats, doors open. This is not magic. This is not chance. It is correspondence. It is law. The tragedy of modern life is not that these laws stopped working. It is that we stopped remembering them. We surrendered to randomness, to noise, forgetting the thread that connects all levels of existence. But Hermes always returns in moments of collapse. When empires burn, when civilizations decay, his words reappear. Why? Because they are not his words. They are the architecture of the cosmos itself. No destruction can erase them. And so right now, in the middle of digital emptiness, Hermes speaks again, not as an idol carved in stone, not as a myth locked in libraries, but as an archetype rising within you, the seeker who dares to ask, what is hidden beneath the chaos? Because the messenger was never outside. He is the spark that moves in you the moment you ask for more, the moment you sense that the void is not the end, the moment you choose to remember. But if Hermes brings the map, what exactly is written on it? What laws explain the void of modern life, and how do they begin to restore meaning? Look around you. Do you notice how everything is faster, louder, more demanding? We wake up with alarms. Our first glance is to a glowing screen, and before our feet touch the ground, we are already consumed by headlines, notifications, and numbers. This is not neutral. Every sound, every image, every fragment you consume shapes your mind. And the tragedy is this: a mind without a map becomes a prisoner of noise. The speed we celebrate is not freedom, it is exhaustion. The endless feeds we scroll are not knowledge, they are distraction. The constant pressure to be visible, productive, validated is not connection, but fragmentation. And yet, everyone around you plays the same game, running without direction, accumulating without meaning, performing without essence. A civilization drunk on data, but starving for wisdom. This is what life looks like without a code. When you forget the architecture, every crisis feels final, every failure feels fatal, every silence feels unbearable. And notice how this emptiness manifests: the rise of anxiety, depression, burnout, the sensation of living as if on autopilot, moving but not choosing, the sense of being observed by thousands, yet deeply unseen. This is not a personal weakness. This is the result of forgetting the hidden map. Because when you don't know that your mind shapes reality, you mistake chaos for truth. You believe you are trapped in a meaningless world. You surrender to noise, never realizing that noise is the mask of forgotten laws. Here is the paradox. Never has humanity had so much information, and never have we felt so lost. Never have we been more connected digitally, and never more alone spiritually. Never has progress been faster, and never has purpose felt weaker. This is not random. This is what life becomes when we live without the emerald code. But if the void is not personal but collective, what does it say about the hidden architecture we all forgot? When you lose the map, the labyrinth owns you. Think of life as a vast maze. Without the code, every wall feels final. Every dead end feels like destiny. You walk in circles, mistaking repetition for progress. Look at modern patterns. How many chase wealth, only to feel poorer in spirit? How many pursue recognition only to feel invisible when the applause fades? How many run after pleasure only to feel emptier after each indulgence? This is not failure of effort, it is failure of orientation. Because without the code you can run faster and faster, only to deepen your exile. And this exile has symptoms. One symptom is constant distraction. We no longer endure silence, because silence reveals the void. So we fill it with sound, with screens, with endless input. But the more we consume, the hungrier we become. Another symptom is fragmented identity. Without correspondence, you forget the unity between inner and outer. So you wear masks, one for work, one for friends, one for yourself, until you no longer know which is real. And another is fear of collapse. Because if you believe life is random, every loss feels like annihilation. Without the rhythm of cycles, endings feel like death. You forget that every winter carries a hidden spring. This is what happens when the Hermetic laws are forgotten. Not because they stop operating, but because they operate unseen. You are still subject to rhythm, polarity, vibration, but blind to their patterns. So life feels like accident when in truth it is law, and the cost is immense. A society drowning in abundance, yet suffocating in scarcity. An age obsessed with visibility, yet starving for vision. A generation that knows every surface fact, yet misses the underlying truth. This is life without the emerald map, not because the map was destroyed, but because we forgot to look. And so the void grows, not as punishment, but as invitation. Because the emptiness is not only your wound, it is the mirror of an entire civilization. And the fact that you feel it means you are already closer to remembering. But what if the void itself is the signal of the map calling you back? And what if the ancient code was never gone, only waiting beneath the noise? Everything begins in the invisible. Before there was a word, there was a thought. Before there was a structure, there was an idea. Before there was a world, there was mind. The first Hermetic principle is mentalism. The all is mind, the universe is mental. This does not mean the universe is just in your head. It means that everything you experience flows first from a field of consciousness. Look around you. Every building was once a thought. Every invention was once imagination. Every crisis was once a seed of belief, an unspoken expectation, a hidden assumption. Modern life blinds us to this. We are trained to believe that matter rules mind, that events are accidents, that the world is outside us, beyond us, indifferent to us. And yet look closer. What you repeat inside, life echoes outside. If your inner dialogue is saturated with fear, you will notice threats everywhere. If it is saturated with gratitude, doors open where you saw only walls. Your mind is not a passenger, it is the architect. This is why the existential void feels so crushing. Because if your inner map is erased, reality mirrors the emptiness. The outer world becomes reflection of the hollow inside. And here lies the revelation. The void is not proof that reality is meaningless. It is proof that you are sensing the law of mentalism. The recognition that life begins in the mind and meaning begins in you. Micro practice. Tonight, before sleep, notice your last thought. Ask yourself, if this thought became a seed, what would it grow into? That awareness alone is the beginning of regaining the code. But if reality begins in the mind, how does it connect to everything else? What bridges inner and outer? The second Hermetic law answers the question. It is the principle of correspondence. As above, so below, as within, so without. This is not metaphor. It is architecture. It means the same patterns echo across levels of reality. Galaxies spiral like seashells. Rivers branch like veins. Your breath moves like the tides. And in human life, the law is just as real. The way you treat yourself mirrors how life treats you. The cycles in your emotions mirror the cycles of society. The health of your relationships mirrors the state of your own inner dialogue. Without this law, everything feels disconnected. You believe work, love, body, and spirit are separate compartments. But the law of correspondence shows they are threads of one tapestry. Modern emptiness is a symptom of forgetting this. We live fragmented, one face online, another in private. We chase balance in one area while ignoring another. And yet, life keeps whispering, nothing is isolated. Everything mirrors. Notice how when you hold anger inside, conversations twist with conflict. Notice how when you cultivate clarity, events align effortlessly. Notice how when you deny silence, even sleep resists you. This is correspondence at work. And here is the power. When you shift the micro, the macro responds. When you tend to the seed, the forest changes. When you choose harmony inside, life reflects it outside. Micro practice. Today, observe one reflection. Pick a pattern in your inner world and notice where it is mirrored in your outer world. Write it down. See that life is not random. It is correspondence. But if life is mind, and patterns mirror across levels, why do things still fall apart? Why do cycles of collapse return again and again? The third Hermetic law explains what the modern world resists the most: rhythm. Everything flows out and in. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. In nature, this is obvious. Day follows night. Seasons circle. Tides come and go. Life moves in cycles. But in modern culture, we pretend otherwise. We demand constant productivity, permanent growth, unbroken speed. We fear silence. We fear decline. We fear endings. And so, when rhythm returns, as it always does, we call it failure. We mistake winter for death, when it is simply preparation for spring. Look at your own life. Moments of expansion followed by contraction. Times of clarity followed by confusion. Eras of abundance followed by scarcity. This is not punishment. This is rhythm. Without this law, collapse feels final. You think a failed relationship means you are broken. You think a lost job means life has abandoned you. You think sadness means the end of joy. But the principle of rhythm whispers otherwise. Nothing ends, it only transforms. The existential void itself is part of rhythm. It is nigredo, the black phase of alchemy, where everything seems lost. But in truth, it is the necessary soil for rebirth. The map shows it clearly. Winter is not the death of the seed, but its hidden gestation. Your emptiness is not the end of your story, but the preparation for your unfolding. Micro practice. When you feel the wave fall, say to yourself, this is rhythm. This is part of the code. Do not resist the ebb. Observe it. In that observation, you step out of fear and into the map. But if rhythm explains collapse and rebirth, what about the hidden currents of energy that shape every moment? What about vibration itself? Every human being is a mirror, whether they know it or not. Every relationship you enter reflects a part of yourself you are ready or unwilling to see. The Hermetic Principle of correspondence, as within, so without, operates with perfect precision in the realm of human connection. It explains why you attract certain people again and again, why conflicts repeat in cycles, why intimacy often reveals the very shadows you try to hide. Think of it. Your emotions are frequencies. When you walk into a room heavy with resentment, you carry that vibration into every word. When you enter with joy, people respond with warmth before you speak. This is not coincidence. It is correspondence. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Your wounds also attract mirrors. If you carry abandonment unhealed, you will attract those who abandon. If you carry self-doubt, you will meet those who confirm it. If you carry self-respect, you will find respect returned. Modern life tells you that relationships are random, just chemistry, or luck. But Hermeticism whispers otherwise. They are mirrors. Each person is a reflection of the inner script you are running. The question is not, why did they treat me this way? The deeper question is, what inside me is being shown by this encounter? This is not about blame. It is about map. If you see the mirror, you have a chance to rewrite the pattern. If you miss it, the pattern repeats. Practical Hermetic key. Next time someone triggers you, pause. Ask, what is this reflecting? Which part of me is being shown? Even in pain, the law is offering you a key. Relationships, then, are classrooms. They are not here to flatter you, nor to complete you. They are here to reflect you. The friend who betrays? Mirror of your own silence about truth. The partner who avoids? Mirror of the avoidance you practice with yourself. The mentor who awakens? Mirror of the wisdom dormant in you. And here is the empowerment. When you shift your inner dialogue, the mirror shifts. Not instantly, not magically, but inevitably. Because as within, so without. This is why Hermeticism liberates relationships from despair. You stop asking, why do they keep doing this to me? And you start asking, what inside me attracts, sustains, or allows this dynamic? If you're still here, this frequency is yours. Not everyone remains this long, but those who do recognize the resonance. Touch the subscribe symbol now and stay inside this field. But if relationships mirror our inner state, what about the spaces of work, money, and purpose, where the pressure feels endless? Work, purpose, and money are not separate from Hermetic law. They are currents, movements of energy, ruled by vibration, rhythm, and correspondence. Think of money. Most see it as numbers, paper, metal. But beneath the surface, it is vibration. It flows where energy aligns. When you grasp at it with fear, it repels. When you approach it with clarity and service, it responds. Think of rhythm. Economies rise and fall. Markets expand and contract. Your career surges and pauses. Without rhythm, every pause feels like failure. With rhythm, you see cycles. You learn not to resist the ebb, but to prepare for the tide. Think of purpose. It does not begin in the external job. It begins as seed in the mind, the principle of mentalism. Ask yourself, what vibration am I here to carry? What pattern am I meant to echo? Purpose is not what you do. It is the resonance you embody. And here is the paradox. When you align with this inner resonance, outer opportunities appear, synchronicities occur, doors open. Because the outer world mirrors the inner seed. Practical Hermetic key. Take one area of blockage, a stalled project, a stagnant income, a closed path. Instead of asking, why is life against me? Ask, which law am I forgetting here? Rhythm, vibration, correspondence? The block is not punishment. It is misalignment. Modern culture tells you that success is about grinding harder, hustling longer, controlling everything. But Hermeticism reveals, success is about alignment, attuning inner vibration to outer rhythm. Seeing money not as master or enemy, but as mirror. Understanding that purpose is not found, it is remembered. This reframes crisis. A lost job is not the end. It is rhythm shifting the tide. Financial instability is not curse. It is correspondence, revealing inner patterns of scarcity. A lack of clarity is not chaos. It is mentalism reminding you that the map begins in the invisible. Write what echoed in you. It's no coincidence. What resonated is the line of the code that was meant for you. Place it in the comments, and let the map expand through many voices. But if work, money, and relationships are reflections of Hermetic law, what symbols and myths hold the deeper keys, hidden in plain sight? Every human life moves through crisis, collapse of love, loss of work, illness of body, dark night of the soul. Modern culture treats crisis as failure. Hermeticism reframes it as rhythm, polarity, initiation. The principle of rhythm explains collapse. Tides ebb before they return. The principle of polarity explains paradox. Opposites contain each other. The principle of mentalism explains despair. Your thoughts shape the meaning you give to events. And so crisis is not punishment. It is initiation. It forces you to see the map you were ignoring. It strips illusions, revealing laws you forgot. Think of alchemy. The first stage is nigredo, the black phase, dissolution, chaos. Everything falls apart. But this is not the end. It is the beginning of transformation. It is soil, preparing the seed. Your existential void is nigredo. The collective anxiety is nigredo. The feeling that nothing makes sense is nigredo. But from that blackness, new vision emerges. Because only when you admit, I am lost, can the map appear. Practical Hermetic key. Next time you face crisis, ask not why me, but what law is at play here? Is it rhythm? The tide receding before it returns? Is it polarity, the hidden seed of the opposite? Is it mentalism, the meaning my mind is projecting? In that question, crisis becomes classroom. And this is the promise of Hermeticism in daily life. No collapse is final. No emptiness is meaningless. Every experience, however dark, is law unfolding. When you see crisis as initiation, despair loses its grip. You realize that even suffering carries instruction, that the void itself is map calling you home. But if crisis is initiation, what symbols hold the memory of this journey? What myths and codes reveal the path through chaos into remembrance? Imagine if life was not chaos. Imagine if every storm, every loss, every coincidence was not random but part of a sentence written in a language most have forgotten. The ancients claimed such a language exists. It was not invented by humans. It was discovered, carved not on parchment, not on clay, but on a green stone that legend calls the Emerald Tablet. The text is astonishingly short, barely a page, and yet it birthed entire traditions of alchemy, mysticism, and philosophy. Its most famous line is only 7 words, as above, so below. To modern ears it sounds poetic, vague, but for initiates, it was code. It meant that the same patterns echoed across levels of existence, that galaxies spiraled like seashells, that rivers branched like veins, that your mind corresponded with the world around you. The Emerald Tablet is not scripture, it is software. It does not preach, it encodes. Every phrase is a command line of the universe. Consider, that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of the One. This is not metaphor, it is instruction. It tells you reality is mirrored, fractal, holographic. That meaning is woven into structure. Modern people miss this because we read the world as if it were noise, but the ancients read it as symbol. They saw birds in flight as signs of rhythm. They saw stars as mirrors of the psyche. They saw numbers as carriers of archetype. Today we still live by patterns, but blind to them. Algorithms track our clicks and reveal patterns in consumption. Data scientists predict behaviors by mapping hidden structures. But what machines do with numbers, Hermeticism has done for millennia with symbols. The tablet whispers, life is not random, it is patterned. And if you read the code, chaos becomes clarity. The forgotten map is not gone. It is still inscribed in emerald lines, and in you. But what if modern science, in its quest to explain matter, is only rediscovering what the emerald tablet encoded long ago? For centuries, the emerald tablet was seen as mystical, but now physics itself whispers the same truth. Quantum mechanics revealed that particles are not solid things but waves of probability. That reality remains undefined until observed. This is the law of mentalism in modern language. Consciousness shapes manifestation. When the physicist says, the observer collapses the wave, he is echoing the Hermeticist who said, the universe is mental. Different words, same law. Now look to psychology. Carl Jung mapped the psyche and discovered the collective unconscious, a reservoir of symbols and archetypes shared by all humans. Dreams, myths, religions across cultures carried the same figures: the hero, the shadow, the wise old man, the great mother. Jung did not invent them. He uncovered what Hermetists had always known. The inner world and the outer world are mirrors. As within, so without. This is why myths never die. They are not fiction. They are architecture. The story of Hermes, the messenger, is the same as Mercury, as Thoth, as Odin's ravens. All are carriers of hidden codes. All are personifications of correspondence. In our era, the myth returned in new clothes. The film The Matrix gave the same message. Most people live in illusion, mistaking surface images for reality, but the awakened see the code beneath. Neo was not just a hacker. He was Hermes reborn, the one who sees the emerald digits flowing behind appearances. Do you see the bridge? Hermeticism is not in conflict with science. It is its foundation. It is not outdated myth. It is the root of psychology, physics, and story. When science whispers about probability, when Jung whispers about archetypes, when cinema whispers about the Matrix, they are all pointing to the same emerald code. If science, myth, and psyche all whisper the same truth, what does it mean for how we live daily life? The emerald matrix is not past. It is alive. It pulses in every moment, every breath, every symbol that repeats until you notice it. Consider the floor of life, an ancient geometric pattern found in Egypt, India, even cathedrals in Europe. Its circles interlock to form the blueprint of creation, echoed in molecules, galaxies, even in the structure of DNA. This is not coincidence. It is correspondence. The map appearing again and again across scales. Consider the music of the spheres. The ancients said planets hum as they orbit, producing inaudible harmonies. Today, astrophysics detects frequencies from stars, and NASA translates them into sound. Again, science confirming what myth already encoded. Or think of the hologram. Cut a holographic plate, and each piece still contains the entire image. This is the emerald law, the whole reflected in each part. As above, so below. Life is not chaos. It is a living hologram, a symbolic field. And Hermeticism is the alphabet that lets you read it. Here is the practical key. Notice repetitions. A dream symbol that recurs. A number that follows you. A phrase you hear from 3 unrelated mouths in the same week. These are not accidents. They are the code speaking in symbols. Most ignore them, rushing back to noise. But the initiate pauses, sees, reads, because the code is alive, not in books but in lived experience. This is why Hermeticism is back now, not to create a new religion, but to return your eyes to the map. The emerald matrix is not only outside, it is written in you. This portal has a sequence. Follow the thread in the pinned comment and step into the next map. The emerald code continues. And if the code is written in you, what happens when you finally dare to read it? The silence you feared was never absence. The emptiness you carried was never failure. The void was a doorway. All along, what felt like hollowness was not the end of meaning, but the beginning of memory. The ache you felt in your chest was not proof that life is random. It was proof that you were he. Now, after traversing chaos and symbols, you can see life is not accident. Hermeticism is not relic. The Emerald Matrix is not myth. It is the livy. The laws you have remembered, mentalism, correspondence, rhythm, are not abstractions. They are the hidden gears behind every thought, every relationship, every collapse, every rebirth. And the void? It is the first signal. It is the universe telling you, the map has been forgotten. It is time to remember. At the start, we spoke of chaos, of noise, of scrolling through endless images while feeling emptier. Now you know, behind that noise, a pattern breathes. Behind the surface, a code shines, the Emerald Code. This is the map, not outside, not hidden in books or temples. It is inscribed in your very being. The code is not outside, it's written in you. So when the void returns, and it will, do not run, do not fear. Stand before it and remember, the void is the veil, and beyond it lies memory, meaning, initiation. The Emerald Code has always been here, waiting, alive, calling you to cross. The next code is already waiting. Subscribe and cross the veil.